for the college game. Here's a question from Ryan Simmons. Mac Rhodes will join us today at 5 o'clock today. He goes, you guys, I saw the numbers that the attendance or the capacity of the new Pavilion is around 7,000. The Ferrell Center is over 10,000. It could be like 10,500. But how often, Paul, what's been the average pretty much attendance, even though men's basketball just won the national title, is an uptick for attendance, and there should be. But isn't that been about 7,000 or so?
About 7,000, about what the new stadium's going to be. I mean, look, they didn't come to that number by, throwing stuff up the wall and seeing with sticks. They looked at the average attendance for everything that they have and said, okay, what are we likely to sell out with? How are we going to sell the most tickets? And that, therefore, or value the tickets and then not have empty seats. 7,500. Great.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people when the announcement came out about the arena, and I think like Fox Sports or somebody tweeted it out, and that led to a lot of people who otherwise wouldn't know, obviously learning. And the most debated thing in the responses was the attendance number. And I think it was pretty easy to spot who doesn't know anything about Baylor athletics by seeing anybody who said, that's stupid. Why would you not? Like, I saw one guy actually say, I bet they could hold 20,000. And I'm like, wow, you are a troll or just shouldn't be allowed to have Twitter because you clearly don't know what you're talking about. But there were a lot of people poking fun. Saw a lot of Tech fans because they have big support out in Lubbock or whatever. They're also a much larger school. So I think people showed a lot of ignorance in some ways when they were like balking at the size of it. The size of it makes perfect sense. The size of it means it's going to be a hard to come by ticket. That's the point. It's not to have so many seats that everybody can get a seat. It's to have just a number of seats to where every seat's filled. That's the goal. It's not to have all the time. Yes, that's the goal. So anybody poo-pooing on the size of it is just a troll or is an idiot that doesn't know what they're talking about, because yes, you would want it to have it 10,000 seats, but that would be 2,500 empty seats. If you want to make fun of they can't fill 10,000, it's a small town. It's not Austin. It's not, and it's not as diehard as, like, let's say Lubbock or Ames for basketball. It's just not.
They had 10,284 for Villanova. They're the defending national champions against another team that had won 2 of the last 5. And I get that. That was the rarity. That's the exception.
Well, it took years to build that up, and it's going to take years to build up getting attendance, because it's not like they've been doing this all along. Like, they just won the national title last year. I don't think you've really seen the ramifications from that just yet.
Yep.
And you will see that over the coming years. But I think by making it a smaller arena, which Mac Rhodes has explained like 100 times on this show for why they did that, it makes more sense than going bigger. People see big, and they're like, oh, you got to be big. You got to have 20,000? No, that would be stupid, because that's the whole point of why they're redoing it to begin with.
Well, and I think a lot of people think, well, Waco's growing, so it's got to be bigger. Well, no. The other thing is Waco's growing, but it's not necessarily Baylor people.
Right.
Look, the 4 people in this room, one of them is a Baylor alumni, and we're all 4 Waco transplants. We're not natives. Right now, all 4 of us have come here from somewhere else. So the people who are coming here now may have no connection to Baylor. They just may, work at one of the new places that's being built here. So would they immediately go to Baylor games? And we hope they're sports fans. Shoot, yeah. But again, you can't factor that in.
All across the country. And listen, if it was 15,000, they could fill it all the time. They would build it for 15,000. But pretty much around the country. UT is a big, huge school. 40-some thousand. Huge city. They even downsized theirs a little bit from what was Frank Irwin Center. And if you'd been to some of the games at the Frank Irwin Center, you saw it look like a bomb would go off and nobody would get hurt at times. Yes, I know there's a surge, Chris Beard and this team again with the hype, and I get that there's been other years you've had Kevin Durant. College basketball, in general, attendance is down and has been on a trend for about the last 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, it has. By the way, they're doing a whole little, press conference for the Foster Pavilion, which, again, we got to start calling
Mac Rhodes that's why he's going to be on at 5.
But, yeah, some are downsizing. I saw somebody say, well, yeah, okay, well, it makes sense for games, but why would you not, if you're going to do concerts as well, why would you not have it bigger? And it's like, again, I don't think you understand the area that you're talking about, so don't talk about it because you don't know what you're talking about. But I wanted to mention on this, the Foster Pavilion will be 7,500 people. That's official now. 7,500 capacity for all programs, and it's going to sit right behind Robinson Tower on the riverfront. Baylor's going to purchase parts of the land. Waco will acquire the other part of the land, and the Waco property will be used for condos, restaurants, hotels, and more. So that's just from the city press conference.
All right, let me also tell you something about concerts in this town. This is a sad fact about Waco, Texas. The people from this city have no idea how to sell at a concert. They have no idea how to get people to book and come back. They don't understand that because their whole lives, they've been able to know who was. It was Garth Brooks, it was George Strait, it was Willie Nelson, it was the friggin' Rolling Stones coming here. They could walk up to the gate the day of the concert in 1985 and go, I would like a ticket, please, on the 12th row. And somebody would hand them a ticket, and that was it. But promoters make money on pre-sale tickets, which are why pre-sale tickets are cheaper, and people in this town have not figured it out. It's just beyond them, and it just sails right above their heads. I have no idea. I hope it changes so we'll get better concerts, and I don't have to drive 90 miles to go see Jimmy Buffett.
I am going to say this. You've been here longer. Armstrong was a student here. Craig's been here since 13. I was here in 2010. You know, a lot of times we do get into the attendance. We talk about some of the games. You know what? Baylor fans have grown up a lot, though. There have been some times when you wonder. There are games when you wonder. You wonder about sometimes the kick times, if it's too hot or the sun or whatever. But you know what? It has come a hell of a long way. But it is still a small school. Oregon has 23,000 enrollment, right? Back in early December, they hosted Stanford, a Pac-12 team. They had 7,000 or 4,000 students, or 4,000 people. Their attendance against Baylor this past week was down, but the students were out of school. Students are out of school a lot of times, a lot of places as well. But a bottom line is, it's a different culture at times, and you have to learn that along the way. But I'm excited. 7,500 for the Foster Pavilion. Mac Rhodes today, who is at that meeting, will join us today at 5 o'clock to discuss today, plus some other things as well.
I think it's smart. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think going any bigger, I mean, you could argue for maybe, we should have done 8,000, but I think anybody talking like 10,000 or no, I don't think you know what you're talking about. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to obviously be just more construction going on in this town, which it's hard to imagine there could be any more than there already is. But they're breaking ground on the Welcome Center now, and they've broken ground on 35 for now the last few years and all that. But when they break ground on that pavilion, that'll be something interesting, and also the football facility as well. Looking forward to both of those, in the future.
All right, Bailey